All right, so welcome to this week's productivity series. We have been discussing about a lot of things on productivity models, how to increase productivity in mothers so that they can juggle really well their home, their family, work, and surroundings around them. Why do we need productivity? Is because we need to, save time, energy, brain power. So we will have energy and time and strength to accomplish our goals in different domains of life. Now, in this call, I'll be sharing a mind map. Just let me know if you're able to see the screen. Okay, so as usual, we will generally, go through what is it in for you and to understand for new people who are coming in. We'll give them a few more minutes to join, but we will get started with the introduction. Generally, we talk about the code of honor and how do we show up for these calls. This will be more helpful for the new people and the old people, the existing people to reinstate. Even for me, it is a reinstation every week. Whenever I read this code of honor, I'm telling myself what is the culture that we are trying to build for these calls. Okay. Now, what will you get? These calls are structured in a way that it is a continuous learning, unless and until I have some, family thing or some emergency or some clash of schedules. Other than that, I will be present for all Saturdays as a commitment, uh, where we will have a continuous learning. The best part is when the learning is happening in a structured format, right? Like as a person, you don't have to get into Google and start, giving your prompt and then finding loops and loops of information. You will definitely go lost. I've been in that situation too. But if it is presented in a platter, it's easy to pick and choose what you want and then just move on, right? So I'm here to help you with that. I've done enough research on how to increase productivity for my own self, right? Whatever has worked for me, I've jotted down. And whatever is working for you, you may want to put that across as a feedback, your experiences, your insights, inspiration, anything that you can, put that in the group or in a feedback form that I'm going to share with you every week going forward. That will definitely help and inspire the moms who are already existing or the new moms who are coming in. Okay. The structure is it's a continuous learning for a 90 minutes. 52 weeks is what I've just mentioned because it's an year long. Okay, year long itself is a too good time to measure our consistency. But beyond that is something that we will always add. Okay, but you will find a repository of 52 weeks of calls. If not, some emergency clashes happens. But 52 weeks is the aim for the next 1 year. If you calculate, there will be 78 hours of learning. Okay, then there will be a opportunity to peer learning because when we ask this community call, it's a private call, right? The reason why I've not put that into live streaming or publish it in YouTube is because we share a lot of intimate stuffs, right? Like for example, some personal situations or events. We sometimes even mention names. So it is important for us to maintain that sanctity, and it is done in a private sphere. So we respect that privacy, and we encourage moms to open up more. And that is the reason this call is obviously recorded, but it will be all collected as a repository, and it will be given to you from a LMS point of view, that is learning management system, where I will be investing on tools, and it will be presented to you in a format where you just have to click it and it comes as a recording for you. But the most important thing is to come live and attend, because when you attend live, that's a different experience, right? Because we get to hear people from various places, and there's an opportunity for you to interact with the different time zone people. We have people from India also joining us. There will be a lot of moms, who also come out on Saturdays, attending their kids' soccer games or some classes, but still they will be on the phone, on their headphones, listening to these calls. So somebody may be cooking breakfast on a Saturday morning. Somebody may be sitting lazily in a patio drinking tea, but still learning. So it is best that we use this technology to the maximum and learn something which is concrete and relevant for us. All right. So we will be doing some assessments as a self-assessment initially, because when we discuss some models, we would like to go through, suppose I give you some models and then I give you my example. You might want to analyze that. How is it working and how is it showing up in your domain of life? Journey is different, examples could be different, but intensity could also be different of a problem. But then we all have common problems. This is the wonderful advantage of having a calls like this, because it may be any part of the world. People who attend, mothers have common problems, right? So you're not the only one who has that particular problem. You're not the only person on the earth who's suffering. So that is some revelation that I got when we started off this call. We started this call from April 2022. Since then, we have been having a lot of topics involved in parenting, schooling, neighborhood. We, in fact, discussed a lot of recipes, and then we kind of got into discipline hackathon, where every week we introduced some new concepts to practice and then establish your results. And then we had some scorings. We formed a core leadership team. We kind of identified who's the most encouraging and enthusiastic moms, and then we formed a group. We kind of encouraged each other. So that was some fun. And then we moved on to taking feedback from everybody, because we're running out of topics. And then it kind of led us to what is it important for moms, and then we kind of narrowed down with self-development topics. And hence, you will see these series of topics coming up. The structure is 3-step formula. First is creating awareness. It is very important you take any topic. It is important to get that kind of a right awareness, right insights, right inspiration first, for you to even believe that it can work. If it has worked for somebody, it should work for you also. So our best effort is to, make it more visible and tangible for you, bringing information in a concretized manner, because so many information out there, right? To digest what has been given, it is very important for us to create a new learning. When we share certain things, right, in a room like this, we also take it's an experience that somebody is sharing, and an experience cannot go false. So in their journey, in their experience, they have seen it happening. So the experience shared is also an insight for us. So like this, if you take the awareness created, then it is going to be an informed decision that you're going to take. Any choices in life is going to be an informed choice. Because you're able to take informed decisions, the loss could be minimized. I'm not saying you can be a perfect decision maker at all times, but you can make better choices for yourself and for people around us. So that is good enough for you to save a lot of time, energy, money, resources, right? When you are a person who was looked upon to decide something in daily choices and on a long term at work or at family, with any of your neighborhood or with your friends, that's a great skill. That means your ability to think and feel for others is extraordinary, because you're able to put that into practice as well. Whatever decision you're taking is actually relevant, useful, and it is helping a lot of people around you. That is a skill by itself. Where does that come? I mean, what is the advantage of, or what is the source of you taking an informed decision? Is because you have an informed insights. So it is very important to create that kind of an awareness and then create that kind of a right choices for you to achieve results. You may have goals in your mind, or you may not. Okay. The advantage of having goals is like you having a direction. Even when you're sitting in the car, right? Unless you put some, places, the destination that you want to go, even Google Maps are not going to help you. The GPS will not help you unless you give some input, goal or destination. It is very important to have that destination in life. To help my children, I'm busy in parenting, I don't want a goal and all that. No, even as a parent, it is important to have our daily schedules and choices aligned to what is needed for the immediate or short-term goals. As we go about, right, we have a lot of other topics to discuss about. Then you will know the importance of why to increase productivity, even as a homemaker or as a working person, or as a business entrepreneur. It is common for all of us to gain that time, extra time. It is important to gain that extra energy in us. Nobody would say no for it, right? If you have given some extra time in 24 hours for your own self, for you to do what you want to do, would you say no? If you have given extra money for you to do what you want to do, would you say no? If you have that real strength, extra strength to do what you want to do, would you say no? No. So it is, why are we not aligning ourselves to find that extra time or extra energy and strength and brain power? So these things would definitely help you think in that lines. For you to, awareness is there, but for you to take choices, right, you need to create that right kind of proportion, that is skills. Without you having that capacity in you, you cannot see through things. You cannot, really analyze whether it's working for me or not, or it is working for others or not. So it is important to have that skill. Suppose I tell you, hey, you know what, this is what is fishing. I go and fish and tell you that this is what is fishing. Would you rather choose that, or would you, if I teach you the skill of fishing is what is going to help you fetch fishes and sell and make more money. So that's what is important, to have skill building. Okay. And then for you to have that results achieved in a shorter span of time, it is important to have that awareness and skills. What next? If a person is having the right kind of awareness and skills, what next? Yeah. I mean, what next logically can happen? Like, they will definitely want to see, okay, now I have the strength, I have the resource, I have the money, I have the time, I have the right kind of knowledge. Now what? Then they will, start seeking as to how they can go beyond. That's when the direction part of it comes. So we will discuss in this similar fashion. How can you make use of these calls? Is to participate, learn, reflect, apply it more, and improve. So your career enhancement, or either it is for your career enhancement, or you getting ready for some business entrepreneurship, or for something to contribute to your family. Anything. It could be a skill gap that you found that you want to work on it. It could be many things, right? How does it help you? Is because it's a great start. It is building you consistency, because the more time you come and attend, the more you're trying to tell your brain, okay, look, there is something happening on Saturday and I need to, show up. Maybe your family can also, align, and then they can also remind you. So there are many times that my family members would remind me, hey, know what? Tomorrow is a call for you, so you might as well wrap up early on the Friday evening. So that will definitely raise your esteem in your family. Of course, you are building a great habits. You're also building self-confidence with that, and you're developing a learning culture. Now, with this, what's happening? Naturally, you're growing. Without this growth, we're stuck. We're in the same place, right? What transformation or impact can you expect? Focusing on developing great character, that is definitely is an advantage, because you are developing a learning habit in you. Gaining knowledge is of, it doesn't go drain unless, you let it drain. So it is important to, that is the reason I asked you to share in the group, or, as a takeaway, because it is going to reinstate in your mind. It is going to retain your mind. When you put in writing, whatever learning you have done, it is going to reinstate in your mind. Okay. Becoming a lifelong learner, learning right steps, and with the right person is also important. Saving time, money, and efforts is equally important, because, as I already said in the beginning, you can't be running around searching in Google, trying to understand, how does it lead to one to another, and you will anyway be lost. You either need a mentor or a proper structured format of courses, which is going to let you be in the right direction. Otherwise, it's going to be a long route that you are taking it forever. Okay, so now it is equally important that you show up, right? That's a code of honor. The reason why we show up is, as I said, apart from the emergency, apart from you having different priorities, you are building the consistency in you. Do not let that go. There are a lot of books that we will review. There is a lot of topics that inside productivity we are reviewing. It is not just productivity. We will be taking a relationship topic, or stress management, or we will slowly step into financial, freedom skills. How is it you can do something from your home using digital, media, that you can contribute to your family, and taking care of your home chores, or your parenting effectively. So basically, for a stress-free parenting, whatever is needed, we are actually learning at the comfort of our home. So make use of it. It is offered to you as a free of cost. So I think I would grab it. If somebody's knowledge and time is shared, resources are shared, I would rather grab it every week. So you being on time or participating, when we ask certain things that during the call or either after the call in the group, even if they're asking out of the topics, please participate and learn and help each other, right? That is the essence of you being in a community. Also able to reflect. What happens when you don't reflect? Usually it gets drained off, right? We are human beings to reflect and, display or express what we have learned or what we know or what we feel. It is a human skill. So, it is important for your learning as well. Whatever you're learning, you need to go back and reflect. I taught you the retention skill logs, right? Remember, the log is like 10, 24, and 7. So that is the key for your learning. Remember, 10, 24, and 7 is the key. The 10 is immediately after 10 minutes of your learning. If you go and reinstate, if you put that into pen and paper, or either type it in the chat inside the group, you're reinstating your learning. So that will be a powerful retention. Or if you are able to learn, reflect within 24 hours, that is again powerful. Or within 7 days, that is the only chance you have, because after 7 days, it gets overboard. So that is the traditional way of retention, okay? Imagine this formula or this science was developed, I'm sure 20, 30 years before. But what happens now? We are in the most distractive era of the human history, right? So the retention power or the attention span itself is very, very less. You will be learning that in the subsequent topics. You will be learning how attention span is more important for you to create that kind of a productivity. Not just in you. You can observe this in your child, in your spouse, with anybody, your team member you're working with. Remember to retain that. And there is a platform already created for you to retain. Go back to your group and put your 1 or 2 takeaways. You will see how that is going to retain in your brain. You're definitely somewhere your brain will help you to get that out of you and make you apply that. Okay. And then paying forward is also equally important. As and when I finish my call, right, I go back to the group and I thank my people who attended, or Thank you guys for you to show up, or I thank my mentors, and I thank for the learning that I developed today, because it is more of a gratitude. So for me, gratitude practicing is not one part of the day, right? I don't segregate. Of course, I do that every morning, every time I wake up, every time I hit my bed. So twice in a day, it is effectively happening by, it is an unconscious competency for me. But consciously, I'm practicing gratitude everywhere, every transaction that I could do. It is very, very helpful. And it is one of the first thing that you have to do that as a self-care or self-compassion. It has so many benefits to it, so many advantages, both in terms of health, physical health, emotional health, and your financial health. Okay. If anybody of you who's practicing it, just give me a emoji. Now, activity, and we initially started off with definition, measure, addictions, mistakes that we do in the name of productivity, right? Being busy is not productive. Whereas engaging yourself could be productivity. We saw many differences, and we also saw urgency and productivity. And what we did was we stepped into the skills that is needed for you to become productive. We saw time management, and we are right now seeing focus and concentration. We will slowly get into the discipline aspect. We have motivation, we have prioritization, organizing. After all this, these are just few skills that is needed for you to become productive. And then we will go step into direction. In direction, we will see how goals and missions are effective, consistency, how momentum, that is more important, right? How avoiding procrastination is also, procrastination is a great, is the biggest elephant in the room for anybody, right? So you need to spot that, and you need to understand that what is the importance or disadvantages of you being procrastinating, and then move on. And then we also see habits. How do we create productive habits, that which successful people are following? So I'm going to be giving you two bonuses, like we'll do a book review for each and every topic, the topmost bestsellers and the great books. It's not that every other book we will be discussing, only those which are relevant and useful for you and me. So we will pick that up, and we will also see the habits. So when it comes to productive habits, that which are followed by successful people who have already gone through it, it is easy for us to just adapt it and then see the results, whether it's working for you or not. If it's not working for you, just move on with another one, right? But if it's working for you, just stick with that. Build that consistency, make sure that it is working for you, and then keep adding those productive habits. So now what we will do is to continue where we left in terms of focus and concentration. We started off with awareness. We quickly dived into deep work as a book's review. We did a book review. In that deep work, we saw many concepts. Okay. And in that also, we created awareness, saying what is the definition of, deep work and shallow work, and then what are the advantages? How as a mother, I can make use of deep work and shallow work? Why is it needed? You may ask, you may be a working mother, or you're not. For a working mother or an aspirant, for an entrepreneur already, it is very important. But even as a mother, normal home housemaker, it is equally important for us to have that differentiation. Because if you do not know how to have a deep work, see, mostly we work on a deep work model. Deep focus comes only when the problem is intensified. But we cannot all the time work on emergencies. If we are, then we are all the time on a firefighting mode. Firefighting mode will always lead us to burnout, and burnout is not fun. Okay, I've been in the burnout zone in the span of 6 years twice. Okay, so it's not really fun, and for you to recover that, overcome that, takes a lot of time. So we also saw theory and philosophy. That's where we learned what are all the productivity models that is available for an individual. It is not just you're part of a working team, or you're not. You need not be an entrepreneur. You can just be an individual. You may be already going through this. You may not know that, oh, look, I've already been doing this. But you may not necessarily have labeled it, right? So we discussed all that in practicality. And we also saw the rules to play. Like, how do we get into the deep work? It's not just... we need to follow a ritual. It is not to overwhelm, but then for you to have a deep work, maybe at some times when we are in the firefighting mode, we are already exhibiting that ritual in us. Like, we will be shut. We have no distractions at all. We are totally focused. We know exactly that we need to work on this. And we are like, we are in a different zone, right? That's exactly what we discussed. But then how can you replicate without having the firefighting in you? How can you replicate that in an everyday basis, or to complete your projects, or to complete your goals? You see what is the difference? Because when you're in a firefighting mode, that is an emergency which is alerting your brain neurons and everything to bring your attention and focus. But that is to just get out of it. But then this you're doing on a daily basis. to enjoy the process, what you're doing, and to train your brain to, have a deep focus. If you're able to train your brain to immediately get into the deep focus, I think anybody who will be in the 100% of their fullest use of their potential. Once they exactly know how to switch on the deep work mode, then that means the person is working out of brilliance, creativity. There is so much balance in there. So it is just that one switch on, and we have to switch to that deep work mode. And then you also need to know when to switch off. That is again a part of ritual. You need to know when to wrap up, wind off. You need to let go. So we discussed all this, like how do we start with the ritual to get into the deep work, and then how are we inside the deep work? What are we supposed to be doing in the deep work mode? And then how do we get off the deep work? And then how do we include the shallow work also, so that we are like finding a balance? Otherwise, it will be, again, deep work also can make you burn out, right? Too much of focus will definitely drain our brain power, time. Of course, time will be productive, but then energy and brain power is also important. Okay. We saw the rules, and then we saw approaches, like how do people generally approach? What are the ways that people can get into the deep work mode? We saw all these. Okay, why downtime is also crucial. The wrap up time or let it go is also important. What is the craftsman approach to, like how do a craftsman, like a person who's creating art or pottery, how do they approach this? Like at the end of it, they're creating something, right? So it is very important to eat their brain, to understand how their brain style is working. So we saw that. And then packing party is one of the concepts in minimalism. We saw how the minimalism concept actually popped in somebody's brain, right? So we kind of tapped into that genius, and then that's when the minimalism concept came in. How minimalism is actually helping you in deep work. Then what are the interruptions, and how can we overcome the interruption? What is a research saying? Like typical, okay, it's anyway taken an American survey, but then it is about everybody has the same brain, so across any part of the world. So we will take that as a common thing. Like they say, we check our phones every 12 minutes. Okay. And in one of the attention span research says, it takes for a normal person, the moment you are interrupted, right? It takes 25 minutes for you to come back to that focus. Imagine 25 minutes is a huge time, because in a day, 8 hours it's gone for sleeping, or beyond that sometimes. But the rest of the day is split. Okay, because we are playing different roles. Imagine how much are you able to actually give time and focus for your particular goals. Your goal can still be family related, but then is it productively done? Are you easy with it? Are you happily doing it? For you to get happy or enjoying the process, either you need to be efficient in it, or you need to be quality. You need to get a quality work out of it, or satisfaction. We saw the measure. What is giving you happiness? If you have those measures fulfilled, then you are naturally productive. But if you're not, then you need to understand why it is not giving you the happiness. Why does it, doing what you're doing every day should give you a fatigueness? Instead, you should be efficient, right? Because you're doing every day the same thing. You should rather be efficient and be able to include a lot of other responsibilities. But why are we not able to? Okay. One of the main things is interruptions, especially when you are in this digital era, where it is totally disrupted, full of distractions. You need to know what is causing that distractions, and what are all those distractions, and how can we avoid that, so that we can do what we want to do in life. Okay. Then we saw some hacks, the hacks which is given in the deep work book, and then we saw some skills, like what is needed. We also saw some general hacks, right? We discussed based on our learning. We were seeing mastering hard things, and then deliberate practices, and then today what we will do is we will start with these and then jump on to distractions. So the 3 groups which will thrive at an advantage if they are in a deep work mode are for whom it is necessary. I don't want you to exclude from the group and see, but in general, these are all the sector of people who are applying the deep focus. The high skilled work, those that can work with intelligent machines, AI, computer, coding, and all that. If you see a coder, their thinking pattern is different. Their approach to life is different. The decision making is different, right? They could be both advantage and disadvantage. If you have spent time with coders, you will know, right? It could be in both the genders, though. You will see them operating at a different level. How many of you have realized? Give me a yes in the comment box. I have a lot of coder friends, both both men and women. We have, during those days, boys and girls, we used to have we used to eat brains from different, whenever we gather, when we talk as a group, we see a lot of different dynamics popping in. And we know why it is coming from, how it is coming from, because 3/4 of the day is spent at your work, right? Work domain is the more dominant in many of us before the marriage. And after marriage, it is turned upside down for a lot of people. And for a lot of working mother, it's still, balancing out. But it is nice to see their creativity, their brilliance, along with their intelligence, working on. So it is very, very important that the moment they switch on that coding or any computer related works, right? Or even math people, people who are brilliant at math or arts for that matter, they, any high skilled workers, typically skills as in it includes both motor skills and your brain skills. So you will see them operating in a different level of intelligence, right? And then the superstars, those who are best at their work. So we call it as high potential people at work, right? Or the Star Wars of industries. How important, like if you go through their daily lifestyle, right, you will know. That is the reason I picked up examples of people who are successful in different industries, and we have taken their daily lifestyle to understand what are the habits they inculcated on a daily basis, which is helping them cumulative effect of how they're able to achieve big things. Okay, now very important is how we are seeing ways for you to enable you to switch on the deep work mode. Okay, we are seeing different hacks, different approach, different ways to help you switch on the deep work mode. Main for you to observe the distractions. Distraction itself is a big topic, but for you to observe what is the distractions and what are the measures, what are the different dimensions from where you can get that arrows from, what are the areas, those we will discuss. But for you to have a detox experiment as part of hacks here, I would like to go deep dive into it. I think detox is important at many levels of our existence: body, mind, soul. Okay, when regards to people, and of course, digital detox is also important. Okay, let me see. When it comes to body, it is important to take the right kind of nutrition, right? Or therapy. There are a lot of Ayurvedic therapy that you can go for a full detox. They clean the entire body. I've been to detox, very recently when I went to India. I think it's one of the best things that I did for my body and my mind. The entire 10 days, 15 days was so very important for me. I could easily see when I drink water, right? It goes right at the pit of my stomach. It was never an experience. I had never felt this before at all. Imagine then what amount of, toxic thing that we are feeling every day. It is important to take that out. And the natural consequences is weight loss or, your disease becoming easy, it's getting rid of a certain disease. But the most admirable factor that I've seen is, it's a wow thing that I've seen with people, is that they were able to, it is not possible for them to cure whatever they have gone through in the span of 10 or 15 days they are in that detox zone. Okay, it is not possible at all. Neither it is possible for the doctors to do that. But what they did was, they could get rid of the tablets that they were taking. That is a huge step, yeah. I mean, it's a natural gift, right? If you're able to get rid of medicines, that means what? Your body is cooperating and it is allowing you to heal. And all you have to do is pick up the right kind of methods to heal your body. We have been doing so many wrong things. We have confused the body to an extent that it doesn't know how to help you. So it is very, very important to give that kind of a balanced nutrition every day, every meal. And habits like chewing, fluids, fruits, nuts. Apart from the nutrition, these are some habits like, water detox is also there. Okay. And then mind level, feeding. Okay. That is, I think I'm going to put that in digital detox. Okay. Now, mind also, since we are talking about deep work, most of the time it happens from the mind. Most of the challenges, most of the problems get solved when the mindset is clear. How many of you agree? Most of the problems exist here. It can be your weight gain or weight loss or your financial gains. Anything happens from here. Once this is clear, things will manifest. Okay. So for that, you need to work in chunks. It is important to know your body break times. Okay. Whenever I have the deep work, before I know that I'm doing a deep work, right? I was anyway doing it. So my body will tell me, oh no, look, this is the limit. And then what I will do is the entire day, I thank my mentor to having me reinstate every week, every month, whenever I listen to him, how he has, how he's been productive and how he's been successful. So there are super mentors that when they tell you what they have done, it is important to reflect and apply that in you to see whether it is working for you or not. And when I saw that, I could understand, hey, look, I got this right kind of awareness. What I'm doing is my body is suggesting me to take a break. I think I'm in the right direction because that's what, my mentors have said. That's what Jeff Bezos is doing. So what I'm doing is, okay, I'm not pressurizing my body. Earlier, when I was not having this kind of awareness, when I knew that Bill Gates, there's a documentary series called, Brain of Bill Gates or something. Okay, I forgot the name, but it's something that I watched last year. You should see that document series where they have, documented so easily how Bill Gates, Mr. Gates himself will, narrate the stories. And then he isolates himself to a place where nobody disturbs him, totally out of distractions. Entire month, he's be filled with books. And then when he comes out of that space, his brain is so full of creativity, he gets a lot of great ideas. That's where he built his empire. So I'm not saying, I can match their frequency, but something is working for somebody. And how they are interpreting all that, because they are giving their mind and body and soul a total break. Is it possible for me to do in my role of activities? Not necessary. I mean, it's not possible. It not necessary that I have to be isolated and go into a cruise or something. But I can still find my own, the space and time, right? It is very much possible, realistic to create that kind of space and time. If you have that right kind of communication with your family, right kind of understanding. First of all, you need to understand what your body needs are, what your needs are, and then you should be able to communicate well. And if you are able to get that break, right, it will definitely thank you. Your body, mind will thank you, definitely. So you should work in chunks. And taking a break is also important. That one full day, you should not be, again, going back to mobile or something related to work. You should just be going off beat of it, totally tangentially opposite to what you have been doing the rest of the days. Only then you're creating a balance in your brain. Both the right side and left side, creativity and intellectual brain is working together. Otherwise, if you go extreme intellectual knowledge and, all the time acting, doing work and not creativity at all, it will definitely go drain. That is why mothers like us, we feel so dumb in certain areas that we almost felt like we are like, we lost everything, whatever. I was not like this 10 years before, 15 years before, my body shape, except your physical, you think you're only physically changed. But no, mentally also you've changed because of the lifestyle habits that you're. That is the reason we are doing this call. So this is more of a culture building, not just for physical existence. Emotional existence is also for mental existence. We are culturing our brain also to rewire in a way that what is good for the brain. Okay. And then following productivity models is also important, and writing affirmation. Okay. So now this is my fifth book of writing goals. Okay. So, but I have two methodology. I have affirmations separately for finances. I have affirmations for my emotional health, mental health, physical health, and my family relationship. So I have that as a file, and then wherever I go, I take that. It's pretty important that I see that every day. Okay. But as my goals, I start writing my goals every day before I start my work. Whatever goals comes in the form of affirmations, I start writing it. It is a simple sentence. Okay. Futuristic. And then you can add gratitude in it. You can add your own flavor to it, but then there is a format that you need to write. Why affirmation is because you're reinstating your cells, molecular level. Your neurons is actually, exploding the moment you start writing. It has a connection. Your handwriting and your brain has a connection to it, because that's why in our, culture, right? Earlier in India, we do a lot of writing, but of course that is the last form of learning. You know what is the first form? There are 4 forms, right? You know what is the most important and most needed form of learning? Listening. What we are doing is our education system in India after the British rule, everything is collapsed, everything is reversed, because they want to eradicate our culture. They want to make sure that we are rooted in every possible way. That is why they taught us wrong ways. Okay. Thankfully, we are like upgrading our. It is still not there. It takes a lot of time, but because of the pandemic, a lot of things have been changed, and a lot of consciousness have been brought into family, health, education system. We all have to be, you and me have to be part of it, to contribute to make our education system in India a vital and strong, robust process for the next generations. So the first best model of learning is to active listening. That is why the Gurukulam, right? Before Britishers, we only had Gurukulam. Gurukulam systems doesn't have pen and paper. It only had pure focus, attention, and commitment, devotion. They are left in the Gurukul to learn and come back. In that vital period of their childhood, they are with their guru, they are with their teachers, fully dedicated. And nothing, I mean, they only listen to the recitation, chanting, and then they reciprocate and reproduce, right? Great amount of retention happen. If you have attended any kind of a traditional classes, right? It could be Carnatic, it could be Bharatanatyam, it could be slokas, it could be scriptures. How are we able to retain, and how is it creating an impact in us for a long time? Is because we listen to them. Okay. Similarly, affirmation is also something that you write, and then you constantly rewire your brain to in a particular direction that you always want to. But for you to write affirmation, you need to be clear with your goals, your vision, your daily choices, so that can be put that as an affirmation. Okay. And then you can practice in writing or even reading aloud. And then I want to give you another one. There is something called Stranger Secret. If you go into my YouTube channel, Brinda Kalyan Raman, and if you type Stranger Secret, you will get into a video called it's by Earl Nightingale. You just have to listen to it. You will know the tone, the words, the depth of what he's trying to convey. It gives you a different frequency. Okay, it puts you into a different mood. Suddenly something will appear. Suddenly you can hear your own voice. Okay, the more you allow it to be heard, right, every day, something shifts in you. The reason is that it is one of the best, very few audio that I have listened that can actually change the mood of somebody, who are wanting to be super alert, super focused, especially when it deals with mindset and money. Okay, you may want to listen to that and let me know your experiences. And I mean, this is good enough for you to practice. When it comes to soul, of course, what we have to do is meditate. Sitting and connecting with your higher power is important. You may want to attach a scripture to it, or you may want to attach an idol, your religious beliefs. As long as you are able to sit and connect with that particular force, the power, that is important. That has to be consistently done. That's a ritual. Breathing, mindfulness. These are some tools that you can enrich your soul on a day-to-day basis. Don't think soul comes later, because when we die only we care for soul, right? It's like we don't take care of the next least thing that we leave is our health. We will not take care of the health, or we will not even get a hint of what's happening inside us unless we get a knock. That is, unless we have a headache, we will not know whether there is a existence of head. Similarly, if you have a stomach ache, stomach upset is when you will start feeling there is actually a stomach and we have to take care of it. Otherwise, it's constantly feeding. There's no detox happening. There is no break given. Sometimes when you go dehydration is when you will remember water. Okay, so these are some harm that we are doing on a day-to-day basis, which will have a cumulative effect. Not now, but definitely it is coming up. It is not going to hide from you. It is not going to go away. It will definitely come up. But before that, we need to be smart enough to address all that. We should not give the chance to even come up, because when you don't have health, proper health, whatever I talk, if I'm not healthy, all right, have some trouble here, but I can feel the difference, like how I was in the previous weeks, how I am today, I can definitely feel. But this could have a less intensity of problem for me to come and deliver a program like this. But what if I have a stomach ache? I should be running to the bathroom all the time, right? Or I should be thinking about the bathroom more than the productivity calls. So it is very important to take care of body, mind, and soul. And people. Why are we doing a detox with people? Why is it important that we need to detox people? Anybody here? Why do you see the need of detoxing people? Yes, it is because negativity. Not many people are aligned to what, see, your family values are different. Your individual values are different. Goals are different. Dreams are different. Aspirations are different. You may be here and your friends could be in other parts of the world. Or within the same group, you may find different dynamics working out. So you never know when there is a negativity, especially in this digital era. A lot of competition, a lot of rivalry happening, right? There's something called FOMO. How many of you know about it? FOMO? Fear of missing out something. Touch your heart and say, how many of you have this? How many of you felt this? How many of you have felt this frequently? That we want to be part of all parties because we want to know what's happening everywhere. Because of this, what's happening? Maybe it's fun. Okay, you're accumulating stuffs and you're like totally informed about everybody, what's happening in their households. But what's happening actually is losing out on time, productive time, energy is spilled over everywhere. Like your Every time you get calls from different kind of people, you spend energy, you spend time on there. You started thinking about them more than them. That's what we do, right? When we gossip, what's happening? That actual person would have not been thinking so much about them, but we sitting at our place thinking like across miles, we may be thinking about them. We're actually doing a service for them. What are we doing service to our body? It is actually giving us a negative services. That will come up only when you have, in the previous episodes, I've shared how Louise Hay has developed an article where she has related the emotional well-being, how emotions are affecting the physical well-being, how emotions and disease are connected. If you have some intense emotions going in you, for example, anger, jealous, how does it reflect in your body? So you may want to go through that. And it is important to detox with people also. Somebody who is not aligned with your goals, for which you need to be clear in your goals. Even if you're not clear in your goals, at least when you see them, you must have realized it, right? When you converse with somebody, at the end of the conversation, are you energy filled or energy drained? Are you feeling happy or are you feeling jittered? That is a measure for you to know whether that person is suitable for you or not. There is no judgment here, but it is very important to be aware of what's happening around you, what's people are vibing with, because you need to be attracted to your tribe based on your vibes. When there is clash of vibes, you're not going to be forming great friendships. There is no associations built. It is very important to be associated with like-minded people. Okay. Then comes digital detox. Digital is something you need to delete your social media apps. Only then detox can happen. Okay. The previous episodes we saw how we can remove the distractions. Notification from all your apps. There is a settings. There is a button called notification under the settings. You just have to, disable the notification from each app. I know it's a one-time activity, but if you do that, you will know how much it is free apps, what is needed for my basic communication with my family and my child's, app. She wears a watch and we need to monitor her, and then school related apps. So we just keep ourselves communicated. Rest of course, the weather app and, calendar. Rest of the things like social media, everything is web based. So if I have to log into Facebook or Instagram, I literally type and then I log into my, there's no app. So which means I gotten rid of all the notifications. So that is enabling me to virtually be available for my deep focus mode. Okay. And of course, stop taking calls. But if you're not able to take calls in those moments of your deep focus, then it is helping you. Okay, these are some quick experiments you can do. You may want to quit all social media, apps. What you have to do is, don't tell him, if you're very it's an experiment, okay? If you're too much of social media person, all you can do is just work this out. You can do an experiment for yourself. Quit from all the apps and don't tell anyone that you're quitting. When I say quit, you can try this, okay? And after 30 days, ask yourself these two questions. Would the last 30 days have been notably better if I had been able to use those services? Which means, essentially, were you missing? Was it anything useful that you had missed when you had not, using those social media apps? Was it possible for you to stay away? Were you greatly inconvenienced? First of all, was it possible? Just check. Or was it a great inconvenience? For me, truly, without my mobile, it is an inconvenience for me. For driving or for checking my time or calendars, anything and everything, especially having a child, it is important to have. Mobile is like an organ, okay? But how are we using that organ? Are we using it for functional expertise or extreme expertise? That is the line that you have to draw. Did people care that I wasn't using the services? What we are saying is not to get rid of mobile itself, but the apps that you're installing, the services that you do, that you have it on your, the stuff that you have on your mobile, is it really helping you or not? Getting rid of mobile is not something that we are trying to experiment. It's a sheer inconvenience, inability in you, that if you're not having this kind of a technology hand, it's like an organ for you. But what are we doing? What stuffs are we having it on the mobile? That is something that you can experiment with. Did people really care that you weren't there on their Facebook or Instagram notifications? If any of these answers no, then it is good to quit. Okay. Now, there's something called meta attention. Right. So it is very important for you to know attention management, which we will be discussing in the next few classes. Okay. But for you right now, I'll give you a synopsis about what is attention management. In deep work focus, how this attention is going to help you. When we say attention here, we are talking one step deep. It's called meta attention, or better still, attention to attention. How's that? Learning to become more aware of the things that is consistently distracting you. For this, you need to literally be aware of your patterns and habits, trigger, emotions. You need to be aware of. How do we do this? Simply track it. In the previous episodes, we saw how keeping a track of those daily transactions that you do, starting from waking up, every 2 hours, you just keep noting. Take your notepad. You don't have to do overwhelming of writing, taking a separate notebook and then doing separately allotting time for this. Instead, all you have to do is just take a notepad on your phone. And every 2 hours, all you have to remember is to jot down what you have been doing. And at the end of the day, if you see what are the productive and unproductive tasks that you have spent time on, you will exactly know how much of your attention were you able to give for those productive tasks and how much of it was not given. Then you can label or measure your own productivity by yourself. Okay? To become aware of the many distractions working against you, start tracking your attention span. That's exactly what I said. You will also be, by the time you track your entire day-to-day activity, you will also know where are those areas that you are being distracted. It may be a call from your friend or from your family. It may be, sometimes we cannot avoid the family call. We may think, we may get ridden with the guilt ride and all that. But we can still do some adjustment, right? We can always tell them, hey, look, this is what I've been doing. I don't ignore calls. Neither I want to avoid their calls, but I can always tell them, if I miss the call, I will return the call back to you in a particular time, which is suitable for me and you, right? If it's a call and call from a friend who doesn't call at all, but it's still call, it is okay. Maybe some need or an emergency, fine. If it is a family, it is very important that you cannot avoid, right? The rest of the things you can always for rest of the things you can always manage it how you may want to respond. Not everything is important. Not everything is urgent also. And then the antidote of mind wandering. Okay, that is meta awareness. Antidote is nothing but a medicine which is given to reduce the venom or take the venom out. That is called antidote. So for you to give a medicine or an antidote for mind wandering, all the time mind is going everywhere, is racing, is meta awareness. How do you develop that? You're simply being aware of your own self first. What is happening in you? It is very, very important. We had this recent discussion with our family. I'm okay to share because it's quite natural for anybody. So my husband came a few days back and he said, I think only now I'm feeling stressed out. I think I can feel the stress now. Okay. And then he feels he's not able to comprehend more than the stress feeling. It is very natural for men not to identify their emotions because we have been taught that way, right? Back in India, in our culture, or I would not call that as an Indian culture, but it is everywhere, right? Especially women, we are taught to not to express our emotions well because we need to keep that outside the door, and then we need to display the courage and move on to that. At least we can cry. The men are not supposed to cry also. They are like very conquering and dominating. They cannot have tears. Correct? So in which case, they all the time hide their emotions. And it is expressing in their emotional health and physical health. So when the events got, worsened, and suddenly, despite of me sharing, and then I keep telling him, talk to me to understand, we want to know whether, see, definitely not all the problems are only on your shoulders. It is important when you're in a relationship with your family. In any case, right? Not everything is on the woman's shoulder or men's shoulder. It is a shared responsibility. So for which I kept on asking him, talk to me and all that. Then slowly, when we started, doing this exercise among us, right? We have been doing this for a long time. The emotional literacy had kicked in a few years back when we felt it is important. So we started talking emotional languages, emotional awareness. So he started I'm feeling stressed out. Then he said, me and my daughter were congratulating. So it's like a good part. So you're in the track. So right now you're able to feel stress, which is a good thing. But what if you're not able to feel it at all? You will find it an indication in your physical body. So he came and said, I feel some heaviness and tightness here around this area. So around this area, your heart, your chest, and lung, breathing aspect, food passage, everything is existing here, right? We need to deep dive to understand what is that heavy feeling here. So when we started discussing, we went for a walk and then we tried to understand. One simple thing I asked him, what makes you happy? Because the heart is here, right? Something to do with emotions. So for that one question, he took 2 days. At least he took 2 days. For me, somebody asked me this question in 2016 when I first got introduced to emotional intelligence. I took almost a year to understand what makes me happy. Trust me when I say this. Right now, I have a notepad. See, for me, everything is a notepad, okay, on my phone. Because anywhere some ideas or anything comes across, or for me to have a schedule, everything is there in notepad. So there is a notepad for me. I can list 100 things, what makes me happy right now. But it has taken me years to know that, okay? So that is meta-awareness. Attention to attention itself. As in the ability to notice that you're not noticing what you should and correcting your focus. Okay? It's in the ability to notice that you are not noticing what you should. You see that? You may be noticing something, but you may be ignoring something also. Your awareness should be, hey, look, you are ignoring some things. What are those? So your awareness should be able to tell you there is something that you're ignoring also. Please look into it. Okay? That will help you correct your focus. Don't worry, we'll get into the self-awareness mode when we talk about more about emotional intelligence concepts. Okay? For now, this is one. And then attention to attention and productivity is something that you can apply. This is for productivity. It's a time efficiency practice that brings your awareness to everything that's trying to take your attention to the task at hand. When you practice meta attention, you stay in observation mode. So that's a key here. More of listening, observation, noticing distractions as they interrupt your deep work and quickly derail them. You should be able to say no. When it comes to people, you should be able to say no. You should learn that courage. You should learn that skill to say no, because you should be able to be clear in what you want. If somebody is not clear in what they want, they cannot say no, either to people or to events or anything. Okay. Before they turn your single tasking habit into multiple tasking. We also saw in the previous episodes how multiple tasking is a myth. Your brain is designed in such a way that it can only monotask, that is single task. We are doing a couple of things. That doesn't mean the brain is allowing us to concentrate. We are just pulling the brain power into everywhere. Okay? But sometimes your shallow works can get completed. Shallow works, for an example, is, we discussed a lot in the previous episode, but then to give you an example is, when I'm cooking, I can still hear, headphones, maybe listen to music or news or learn, okay? Be part of some community calls. At the same time, answer my child. Or at the same time, answer at the door. I can do multiple things. But you know what? The result? It's not going to be the desired result. You may try this out. For people who are good at it, maybe they have developed that efficiency over a period of time. But when they continue to do this, they will eventually get into a burnout mode. That is for sure. Even before they could realize they are in the burnout zone. Because our brain is not designed like that. As you notice the distractions, you refuse to react and return to focus mode. If you have the ability, first of all, to observe and say no, and not react or respond to it, but then come back to your focus mode, that's a master ability. People are dying to get, it's a dream for anybody to have this deep focus. But there are some times where even mothers have, done this earlier. Imagine when you were pregnant. Imagine when you were delivering, or for your child, you're attending some needs for your child. We were deeply focused. Or if it is any bigger responsibilities, which attaches some, some area of vulnerabilities or some insecurities or some fear of the loss of money, time, energy, somewhere in the firefighting mode, we are deeply focused. All I want you to do is just go back and reflect how you were, your version. You were a different person there, right? So imagine all those times that you have been working under pressure and how you were able to deeply focus. All you have to do is just model that for completing your projects or you're achieving your goals that you have kept in your mind. Okay? Taking care of your distractions will also help you. You can build a productive system. First of all, you need to build a production system that takes care of your distractions. Okay? While you're practicing this meta attention. As I just said, simple things like go back to your phone, your setting mode, notification, remove all that. Or communicate to your people that, they cannot disturb you for at least 2-3 hours. switch off your phone, airplane mode, or make sure you leave your mobile on the dining table and then go to your bed before when you want to sleep. Even for sleeping, right? You can create that space, decluttering that space. You can create that environment for you to for the melatonin, the hormone to kick in. You can do that, but you need to be aware and then be able to say no and then act what is needed for you to get into the deep focus mode. You should have the ability to observe and have the courage to act on it. Okay, design your immediate work environment to support deep work. All these things. Keep one tab at a time. Deep work is important, that you should not get into shallow work. That is, opening all tabs is shallow work. Because philosophy, by philosophy also, and principally, it's a myth. Working offline when necessary. It is important that you switch off the chat, come out of all the green signals, available signals, and just be not available. Work in sprints of 30 minutes at a time. Yeah, 30 minutes could be, if you're adapting monastic model, I would say 2-3 hours, unless it is a bio break. You don't have to step out. You just have to watch your body rhythm. If it allows you to go in, do that. If it's a bio break, it's very much that you're aligning to your body. You might want to, take that privilege. But if it's anything around that, maybe your brain power, you may want to just shut down the screen and look outside. Look for greeneries or take a walk and come back, right? Take short breaks. Mindful breathing can also help, or jumping jacks, just move around and get that energy kicked in, or listen to some quick energetic music, dance a bit, and then come back. Scheduling emails and notification time and all that. Okay, cool. I think it's a good, good amount of deep aspects that we saw. So with this, we are winding off with the deep work review, and I think it's fair for us to get into the distractions next week. And for now, you may want to go back to the group and first of all, analyze what we have learned here. How is it shaping up in your daily life, in your respective roles? How is it helping you to shape up something in you for your future actions? Like, starting from now, reflect that how can you apply this at home, with family, or at work, with your future goals. Remember the buzzwords that we spoke about: meta attention, or minimalistic concepts, or detox experiments. Whatever is the buzzwords that you remember, go back to the group and share those things, which will definitely be an inspiration for others as well, and as a paying forward, and as well as retaining capacity in your brain. It is very important to do a writing so that you are able to recollect. The brain will definitely help you bring those concepts when needed. Okay. Until I see you in the next weekend, take care, and let me know if you need any clarifications or any questions that you have in the chat, in the group. After we, disconnect this call, you can go back to the group and ask me any questions of any doubts, and the recordings will be made available very soon. But what fun, yeah? I mean, attending live and interacting live is more important, right? Because you're fulfilled that 1.5 hours of learning. You don't have to again go back and then spend time on it. So this is a genuine learning. This is a clear shot impact that you've created in your brain. It will definitely help you rewire. Okay. Thank you so much for spending time, and I'll see you in the next weekend. Bye-bye.